I'm sure you're very familiar with these images. Whether you're familiar with the feeling it gives you or the image itself, most can agree the images are unsettling, though most don't know why. Hell, professionals don't exactly know why we're unsettled by the Uncanny Valley. For those who don't know, to put it simply, the Uncanny Valley is a hypothesis that the connection between beings have human features, but at the same time don't exhibit all human characteristics. Or according to the Wikipedia definition, the Uncanny Valley is a hypothesized relation between an object's degree of resemblance to a human being and emotional response to the object. Such a concept suggests that there's a biological reason for us to fear beings that are not quite human at the same time. But for some examples, it makes absolutely no logical sense as to why I'd be unsettled, such as a child with a mask, or just a simple sculpture. They pose no immediate threat, yet are perceived as a threat. It's weird. There's no proven reason for the Uncanny Valley to exist. We can find more examples of this on the internet. To understand why an image fits in the Uncanny Valley, you must recognize its features. In some images, these features are minimally inhuman, barely recognizable, yet still visible enough to make you feel unsettled. In others, these features are evidently inhuman, big bulging eyes, impossibly tall head, and movement that is in no way natural. You only need one of these to enter the Uncanny Valley, though. There is a point where you take away so many human characteristics to the point where the image leaves the Uncanny Valley and just becomes another scary image. This range, however, is undefined. There is an image that treads the line of uncanny and straight up terrifying, however. One of the most detrimental images to Generation Alpha, Momo. Momo, which I'll call its more appropriate name, Motherbird, is one of, if not the most unsettling image on the internet. Strip the sculpture of any context or information of its history on the internet, and it's still unsettling. The Motherbird has two potential backstories. One is of a woman who has a miscarriage, then turns into a bird, flying around, instilling fears in those who view it. The other claims the Motherbird is a Japanese demon. The image gained popularity in 2019 when the Motherbird was put in videos and other social media directed at children, typically accompanied by a challenge that involved harming themselves and other people. The challenge, despite being dangerous, is not unique, nor is the backstory. It may be scary when it relates to children, but there's nothing actually scary about it. Besides the image. The image gives me a feeling no other image does, likely because it depicts multiple types of fears. The Motherbird depicts all normal human features: mouth, eyes, nose, and hair. The only problem is that these features are dramatically exaggerated. The eyes, in my opinion, are what make it truly terrifying. They contribute to the uncanniness of the image, while also making you feel as if you're being watched. The psychotic look of the Motherbird makes the stare seem like a death glare. Though the entirety of Momo has started to become cringy, the image still instills fear in those who view it. Ever dream of this man? Probably not, but you've definitely seen it before. Despite being memed to death, the original image still unsettles many who view it. The story reads as such.
In January 2006 in New York, the patient of a well-known psychiatrist draws the face of a man that has been repeatedly appearing in her dreams. On more than one occasion that man has given her advice on her private life. The woman swears she has never met the man in her life. That portrait lies forgotten on the psychiatrist's desk for a few days until one day another patient recognizes that face and says that the man has often visited him in his dreams. He also claims he has never seen that man in his waking life. The psychiatrist decides to send the portrait to some of his colleagues that have patients with recurrent dreams. Within a few months, 4 patients recognize the man as a frequent presence in their dreams. All the patients refer to him as this man. From January 2006 until today, at least 2,000 people have claimed they have seen this man in their dreams. In many cities all over the world, at the moment there is no ascertained relation or common trait among the people that have dreamed of seeing this man. Moreover, no living man has ever been recognized as resembling the man in the portrait by the people who have seen this man in their dreams.
There are multiple theories on why people dream of him, but only one is true. The dream imitation theory states that he appears in people's dreams because of people viewing the image. This theory is most likely because the man was just a clever marketing campaign for a movie of the same name. Despite that, the image is still unsettling, and the testimonies make you think the man may have actually visited your dreams. There are no obvious inhuman characteristics like there is with the Motherbird, yet still exhibits the same emotions. If you block off certain parts of the image, you start to realize the image contains features of the old and the young. the weird and the normal. This image may just be a collection of every single man on the planet. The existence of the Uncanny Valley suggests that there's a reason to fear beings with very human characteristics. There are multiple theories, which I'll go over later, but the predator theory is the most terrifying. The theory puts forth that at some point in our evolution, there's a human-like animal, but to put it more broadly, a human-like being, that pose a major threat to humanity. The Mandela Catalog demonstrates this theory very well.
We are currently receiving countless reports of an unidentified hostile organism that we'll refer to as alternates. Until we have a complete understanding of the threat, it's important to stay home, lock all doors and windows, and have access to a loaded firearm or any ranged weapon at all times. You will know if an alternate exists solely based on their physical characteristics. If you see another person that looks identical to you, run away and hide. If you see a person that has a biologically impossible characteristic, run away and hide. If one manages to break into your home, refrain from any kind of communication or contact with the threat. These intelligent life forms utilize elements of psychological warfare to take advantage of their victims. While we heavily discourage any form of contact or communication with an alternate, we make exceptions for attempts at executing them.
The Mandela Catalog is very loose with the Uncanny Valley, from just barely inhuman to completely altered form. It combines three human fears: the fear of the unknown, the fear of being watched, and obviously the Uncanny Valley. The alternates stalk and hunt humans like predators, but they don't kill for food. They kill to replace. To replace their host as if nothing was ever different in the first place. When you look at an alternate, one that copies human form, the change is typically very subtle. Sometimes subtle enough to still appear human, yet they still feel off. This could explain why Uncanny Valley exists. The only problem is, alternates aren't real, believe it or not. There may have been something similar to the alternates in the past, an animal that is eerily similar to humans, but at the same time an imminent and immediate threat to humanity. Though, other theories are applicable. I'm no robotics expert, but there are some pathways technology should carefully tread, such as the humanization of robots. Currently, when robots are humanized, there's a very obvious inhuman factor, whether it's the movement, the facial features, or the body model. We still can't make the perfect human robot that's designed into the Uncanny Valley. In my opinion, it should stay that way. You can already see the lines of Uncanny being treaded with ChatGPT and deepfakes. It's incredibly uncanny how close to humans you can make a program. And it's only going to get more and more complex to the point where robots aren't uncanny, but just robotic humans. Despite the Uncanny Valley being unsettling, you're going to miss it when it's gone. There hasn't been a clear reason for the Uncanny Valley to exist, but there have been theories, such as: if you look at someone with disease, such that affects their physical appearance as a side effect, differences between them and a normal person are often very vague, though, when it comes to spreadable illness, it is beneficial to know when someone appears to be sick. Which leads back to the Uncanny Valley. The Uncanny Valley may be a human's response to seeing a sick person, except you don't feel uneasy when you see a sick person. The feeling you get when you see Momo is extremely different compared to when you see a person who's sick. This theory leads to the theory of disobedience of social norms. However, this can be disproven through similar means as avoiding the sick. Segueing into the theory of mate selection. You wouldn't want to have kids with someone that does not appear physically well, as it suggests the person may have bad genetics. But this has the same problem as before. Nobody feels that way towards the mother bird. I hope. Look at the uncanny images throughout the video. What do they all have in common? The look of absolute insanity. When you look into their eyes, you don't know what their plans are. Whatever it is, it's not good for your well-being. Avoiding psychopaths is generally a good idea, so it makes sense I would feel uneasy when looking at such. Though the series does not totally hold up. What about uncanny images with normal eyes? Or no eyes? Or what about psychopaths that fool people into believing they're good people? I don't know, nor may I ever know. Maybe wait for more information to come out.